All right. Hey, everybody. This is Colson-Eyre. It is December the 18th, 2023, and you guys are in for a big treat. We are going to hear tonight from a beautiful friend of mine, Stephanie Demar, and she is going to be talking about our book that we've been going over, The Art of Listening. We all need that. And listen, even if you haven't read the chapter, if you have the book, you can pull it out, make some notes on your book as she's talking, and I'm sure she's going to just give us a lot of insight. Before we get with her, I just was going to say, as y'all know, the new In Touch is rolling. Okay, it's out. I don't know about y'all, but it was weird Saturday. You know how you get your phone and you do all your little things, and I'm like, check the email, check my banking account, check Boxer, check my text message, check Project Broadcast, check Mary Kay, and then later in the afternoon, check all those things, check In Touch, and then Sunday as well. It's weird. I mean, I think it's the first time in since I've been in Mary Kay, that we've had In Touch, that it's been down for 2 days in a row. I mean, like really. But I will give it to Mary Kay. I thought it was very well communicated. I was surprised that I did not have one beauty consultant text me and go, I can't get in on In Touch. Either they weren't trying this weekend or they actually paid attention to what we were saying, right? So I think it was very well planned out with plenty of notice. So kudos to Mary Kay for that. I had no issues this morning. There were a few people that it did come up and said, did you want to sign up for your direct deposit? So if you were one of the first people that got on there, you probably got that message. And that's what it comes up as a new consultant. It always asks if you want to sign up for direct deposit or how do you want to get paid when you get commissions in Mary Kay. So if you already have your direct deposit set up, you do not have to go and redo that because I didn't know. So I thought, well, okay. So I clicked on it. I sure do want my money. So I clicked on it. I went through the whole thing. It had all my stuff in there. So you can just hit skip or don't show again, and you'll have to worry about that. Some people, when it came up, it had you, if you have not logged into Mary Kay in a long time, because it didn't happen to me, but some people, it had a whole read through the disclosure and hit accept. Like some Mary Kay, you know, I wouldn't say jargon, but whatever. The what? The disclaimers, whatever it is, the Mary Kay stuff. Okay. And so you had to go scroll down to the bottom and hit I accept. Okay. I didn't have to do that. Probably none of you listening. I think it's going to be for people that have not been on In Touch in a long time. Okay. They probably have to do it. So, but so far, so good. I placed an order today. It was easy. Not only was it easy, I mean, it was fun. I mean, you can just see the things so much easier. It's similar to at the top to like the categories, but the drop downs, like once you put like a one in there, you don't have to hit update. You don't have to do nothing. It just goes in the basket. And then when I got ready to check out, it said, it had all the items and it said, do you want to save for later? Save to your favorites or do nothing and just order it, So it was pretty cool because sometimes have you ever done an order and then you're like, man, that's like $400 more than I needed it to be today. So then you go in there and you're like, let me just like take them all off. But really you need them, but you just can't get them today. So now you can hit save for later, save for later, save for later, just like if you were on Macy's.com and later you go back in there to order or Amazon and you have your saved list. You can bring it up, I think that's fantastic. Or if it's something that you order all the time, you can click it in your favorites list. So I thought it was very easy to find things. I was looking for the eye makeup remover and it was still under customized skincare, but I couldn't find it for a second. So I just typed in remover, it came right up. So I think you're going to like it. Super easy. That's probably one of the biggest differences. A lot of the other stuff, once you click on it, it looks like the screen that we've had in the past. So I just think it's neater, it's cleaner. I like it. I hope y'all like it too. So get on there, mess around. There's still a thing that says Connect Hub and all the videos of all the things you need to know. If you haven't looked at anything, you can still watch them. So if you think, I just need an overview, I saw someone ask that today. Can we get an overview? I'm like, hello, it's on InTouch. It's been on there since December the 1st. So just go watch it. But honestly, it is not that complicated. It really isn't. It's pretty much the same. There's a few little things. Sales directors, I will tell you that when you click on ordering, if you're trying to order for a beauty consultant, you just look all the way to the right. And sometimes if you're on your phone, well, I didn't look, I was looking on my iPad, but if you look all the way to the right, it says order for a unit member. And so that is still on there. So directors, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Mary Kay, reach out to me, hashtag Ask Cleta. Okay. So that's it. There's not a lot to talk about on that because it is not that complicated. All I would say is if you haven't clicked on it, get on there, look around. I did not have a chance to look at the digital hub where all the pictures are because that's one of the things that I'm so thankful we don't have to do the Hootsuite anymore. All our pictures are right there on InTouch. But I did pull up InTouch on my phone, and it does look, it's very user-friendly on your phone as well. So just to kind of give you one little thing that I think is so cute. This is adorable. Let's see if y'all can see it right here. This part right here, this little InTouch, and you can't see it right here, but on the top of the end is a bumblebee. Okay, and then you got Mary Kay right here. It's just, I think it's such a cute, cute logo that they've got for that. And then when you pull it up on your phone, hang on. And by the way, if you ever feel like Mary Kay is like, this don't look right, make sure there's an American flag in the top right corner when you log into InTouch. Because if there's some other flag, you're in another country. You didn't even know you left the country. But it's happened. Some people pulled up and it said Malaysia. Well, it's not going to be the same and you can't log in. So make sure it has a little US. And sometimes it's just from when you start typing in on your computer, Mary Kay InTouch, sometimes it autofills it, and it could be that it autofilled it to another country, like CA for Canada or MX for Mexico, so that's, if you ever have an issue, go back and type it all the way in, delete anything that pops up afterwards, and you can find your Mary Kay one. But this is what it looks like when you log, whoops, hang on. It went ahead, it had a cute little welcome screen, but you see how easy it is right here. It's like an app. Some people say, does InTouch have an app? This is more like an app because it's real easy. It's all in the size of the screen. You don't have to go right and left. So I just think you guys are going to really, really like that. I know you can't see it hardly right here, but it's just super easy to get anywhere you need to get on here. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all check it out. If you have questions, let me know. Okay. So I'm going to bring Stephanie to the screen here with me. So Stephanie Demar is a Mary Kay Beautiful Sales Director. In fact, matter of fact, Stephanie, why don't you just tell everybody just a little bit about you, how long you've been in, and any kind of accolades that you want to talk about on here, and then you can take it over with the book. And thank you so much for agreeing to be one of our speakers. Okay. And y'all give Stephanie a big virtual hand. Okay. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Can you believe next week is Christmas? I mean, wow. So my name is Stephanie Demar. I've been with Mary Kay for 22 years, a director with the team Angels of Beauty unit for 20. And I love our company. It was strange not being able to get on InTouch this weekend because it is just an automatic thing that we want to see what's going on, even if nothing changed. It's just automatic, like we brush our teeth. But it was kind of a release to be like, okay, do something else, right? Call a customer, whatever it might be. But I'm just so thankful for all the updates that the company does continue to do for us. And Cleta, thank you for encouraging all of us to be a part of this book club. And the first 4 chapters have just been so good. I mean, to be transparent, I've had this book for years, and it's the first time I read it. So thank you for that nudge. So good. And there's a lot of things in here that are relevant to even now, to where, if you see some changes, the company wants to hear from us. of course, the positives and any indifferences. And there were quite a few things in here that I'm like, oh, I want to make sure that I call and praise them. So sorry, but I got to put my cheaters on now. So this is chapter 5, and it is the art of listening. And I thought that was kind of fun because if we've been together, I am the listener in the crew. I'm not the chatter. I don't have the gift of gab. So this is so relevant. But on page 35, and I don't know about you, but I must write notes or highlight, or it's like I didn't even read it. Am I alone? Anybody else? So I love how it starts with tenacity and perseverance are essential qualities for success in business, but there's so much more to being successful. Real strength entails being considerate and supportive of people's feelings. And I mean, amen. Do we need to say any more, right? So the art of listening, it just starts right out with, while listening may be the most undervalued of all communication skills, good people managers are likely to listen more than they speak. Perhaps that's why God gave us what? 2 ears, 1 mouth. And that is so hard, especially when we're listening. And if we get excited, that we just want to interject, but go ahead. Hopefully you'll still remember what you want to say, but give value to the person that is speaking. And then right away, it talks about, again, the undervalue of the ability to listen, and that really it's a choice to listen instead of just start taking over the conversation. Some of the most successful leaders are also the best listeners. Assume the role of a sales manager. Absolutely nothing about specifics of the business. It was just so good. She says here that salespeople would go to somebody else for answers. And if you just listen and ask them, well, what do you think is the answer? Usually they have it. And they thank you for having the answer. And how funny. You didn't do anything except listen. We're not psychologists, are we? We are listeners. We can either give advice or just listen and then let them figure it out. I highlighted, or she said here, what do you think you ought to do? Come up with the solution. They agree. And then they leave satisfied. And they think that you're fantastic. Well, that's great. And actually, sometimes that's all somebody wants to do is just have you listen anyways, isn't it? On to the next page, 36. It says that it's a valuable technique, listening. She says here, no way could I have ever given advice. She was talking about a marital mishap, and there's so many lines that you certainly don't want to cross, and nobody ever wants to give bad advice, especially if you've never been in that. But just by listening, and again letting the other person, well, what do you think you should do, then your advice, which you never really gave but you listened, is credible. Many of the problems that we hear don't require me to offer a solution. I solve most of them just by listening and letting the involved party do the talking. If I listen long enough, the person will generally come up with adequate solutions. I'd like to hear that she says that many employees become very militant. They just don't feel appreciated. And when they know that they have a voice and that you care, then that makes a team stronger. I already said that. Here at the end, again, she just says it over and over. It's repeated. All somebody really wants is for somebody to listen to you, and that is an art. It's a skill, paying undivided attention to the other party. When someone enters her office to speak with me, I don't allow anything to distract my attention. Well, that's harder than listening, isn't it? Not being distracted and actually listening. She also says in here, look directly at the person. And if you can make that eye contact, that helps with not being distracted. Because if you're looking at them, then you're not wanting to look everywhere else. I thought this was funny, where she talks about accents. And of course, I had to think of Gina and Latrice, who, in my opinion, have the best accents. And how can you not just want to listen to them? They're so engaging. But she talks here that, sometimes that an accent can be distracting. I also thought of Donna Clark Driscoll. She has that New York brogue, and she is so mesmerizing just to listen to also. But then I thought of how she even says in here that can be distracting to somebody. And if you know the story of now Emeriti, not Debbie Moore, but her Kathy Halou, her story, and she's from Toledo, Ohio, which is like 45 minutes from me, that when she was in corporate America, her boss did not like the tone of her voice. And well, it didn't matter. She moved on, and Mary Kay, and nobody in Mary Kay was ever annoyed by her voice, was it? And I could relate to that. In high school, the speech person, who was also the art teacher, he liked me in his art class, but he didn't also like me in his speech class. He had me go to a speech therapist that wanted me to put my tongue up top of my mouth, so I sounded real nasally. I went once and said, forget it. I said, this is who I am. This is my voice, whatever it might be different. I don't understand. But I thought that was so funny. So just be involved and listen. Often people feel uneasy whenever there's a pause in conversation. Well, some people just need to think and process what's been said before you can say again, especially for those of us that are listeners. We're used to not really being involved in the conversation. So if there's a break, we're like, oh, wait, you want me to say something? Oh, okay. So a pause in a conversation is okay. It shouldn't be annoying. On page 38 in the middle, she references that listening by itself may not be enough. Some people must be prodded if you want to find more about what they're thinking, and that is asking questions without invading privacy. With this in mind, if you sense a problem, that's what she was talking about, be quiet and listen, and even just say, is everything okay? And have the heart to ask a question and listen to them. She referred to somebody in the office that wasn't working like they normally would, showing up. So she could just have that gut feeling that something was wrong, sat down and said, how do you like your coffee? Instead of actually asking, would you like coffee? Kind of like what we do in sales, right? To get an upsell, not really asking, but kind of commanding in a polite way. And so they sat and they got it worked out, and that person felt seen, valued, and heard, and released what the problem was, and then everything was good again. So that was I thought that was very good, and that creates a connection and a bond when somebody knows that you care and that it's not gossipy. Just like when you go to the doctor, they ask you question after question. They're just trying to find out the root cause or what's really going on. Even like if somebody has a problem with a product, okay, well, we're going to make it better, but we just have to ask a question. I don't know who all is registered for Lori Hogg's 3-day event. The first one is going on right now, but you can catch the recording. She even talked about, if somebody's got some skin issues going on, if we just think that it was that product, more than likely it could be the dirty brushes that they're using, because they contain so much, especially keeping those in your bathroom, whether it be hairspray and tons of makeup in them. Just asking questions to find out what the root problem is. Listening. And on people management, page 40. She says that your own organization can be an invaluable resource for ideas. Today, the large independent sales force is an invaluable resource that we tap for new ideas, just like the new InTouch, right? They listen to what we have to say at seminar, when you call, if you send them emails. They are encouraged by what we have to say and how we get things back. I mean, we had Orchard Peach back. For me, I don't think we've had that since I started 22 years ago. And how about Downtown Brown? Okay, it took a lot of years to get that back too, but we did. Now the eyeliners and lip liners are waterproof. They came up with that because of technology, but they also come up with those things because they listen to what you, Mary Kay consultant, and our clients have to say. They listen. Oh, thanks, Mary Kay. And then they also encourage feedback on page 41. It's very important to encourage people to give you feedback. But when they do, you must abide by these 3 rules. 1, listen to what they say. 2, acknowledge all correspondence that is sent to you. And 3, give proper recognition for all valid suggestions. It says they attempt to create a demand for product after it's been created. We, on the other hand, know that our customers want it before we create it. So along with listening, it's also patience, right? We always why isn't it coming back? Or why are they not listening? Well, how many times have you let them know how you feel, or have your customers? Do you know that you can call 1-800-MARY-KAY because they want to hear from you? So communication is key. And then this chapter 5 wrapped up with, although many companies have the opportunity to listen to their sales force, they fail to do so. And she has a little story here about a very successful life insurance agent once confided to me that the company totally ignored the field representatives to tell the home office what was going on. I didn't even bother to make suggestions anymore. And that's really kind of sad. So, if you feel like you aren't being heard, are you sharing your opinion with the company or just with your Mary Kay friends that might not be able to do something? I don't know if you've ever worked in retail. I did before my Mary Kay for Clinique Cosmetics. I actually was a coordinator, had 14 stores, and I always felt bad for everybody at the registers, kind of like anybody at the registers. The people in the home office, they don't have a clue what's going on in the sales force, especially with coupons, even at the grocery store, right? So those people are the ones that get beat up for the mishaps. And I know that Mary Kay isn't that way. I mean, gosh, every time you call, there's a different person that answers. They have so many people just being available for us and our customers as customer service. So the company totally wants to hear from you, and you are heard, you are seen, you are valued, and so important in the company. So I'm not sure if you're much of a listener or if you're more of a talker, but if you need to listen a little more, I suggest trying it and seeing what happens. And just remember, never forget that you are one of a kind. And I don't know if this looks familiar, but this was sent to me by Maureen. And just like listening, the art of sending cards really makes such a difference. So thank you, Mary Kay and leadership and Cleta, for encouraging to read this book. So if you haven't read chapter 5, I highly recommend. Maybe you'll have as much highlighted as I did. Maybe you won't.
I think it was great. And I want to add that on InTouch, at the bottom, there's a place that says contact us. And y'all, I wouldn't say I use it every week, but if I think of something, and I mean, sometimes I do talk to my Mary Kay friends about it, but I think they can't read our mind. And I've had the staff of Mary Kay say, like there was something that somebody wanted back, and they said, well, hang on. And they pulled it up. This was at seminar. She had a laptop. She pulled it up. She goes, only 10 people total have said that they want to bring back that item. So like they really had a chart and it showed how many people requested that item back. And so they really do listen. And that if you get to go to seminar, there's a booth, you fill out a little card that says for what you want back, like if it's color, if it's skincare or whatever thing, and they put it in there and they do look at it. Like those people keep a chart on that. But that contact us has every single division in the company that you can, like if it's a car problem, if it's a in-touch problem, whatever it is. And so I put in some suggestions. I'm like, listen, da 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 da, Cleta the cheetah. But I always get a response back, and they say they forward it to the right person. You know, sometimes they don't do something right that second, but sometimes when a bunch of people send it in, then they look at it. So thank you for those reminders, Stephanie. I thought you did a great job on this whole entire book. And Mary Kay, you know, she remembered when she was in that line, and you know, y'all probably remember this story where she was waiting to talk to somebody and he just looked behind her, you know, and he didn't wait for her. So she always looked you straight in the eye. And I've been with her where she was sitting right down with me with a bunch of people in line. She just looked straight at me and talked to me, you know, and she really did do what she said she did. So we do need to listen more. So Stephanie, you're a perfect one to talk about this because you are a great listener. I'm going to open the gallery here, and I want anyone to affirm Stephanie, our friend, and just unmute yourself, tell her how great she did and how great she is and what she means to us. Because you know what? To get up here and do this, just take a random chapter, I appreciate it a lot. So, and you've got a lot of comments going over here as well, Stephanie.
Stephanie, you did amazing. Thank you very much for bringing that. You did a great job, and it is you. You are the person to bring that. Thank you.
Gail, I thought you were saying something.
Yep. Thank you, Stephanie. You know, I just got to say, I always love to hear about when you worked in your other businesses, you know, the other cosmetic counters. I love to hear what life was like in those other fields, but, you know, in the cosmetic field. So you bring some real rich, great stories to the game. And I know we always shine out better because, you know, you're telling us, you know, you worked with this brand, but then there's Mary Kay. And I just always love to hear that. You just know how to affirm our company over and over again. And you have one of those great voices that we could listen to all day long. I mean, you're right up there.
Thank you, Gail.
You did a great job. And this was the perfect chapter for you because, well, it was just fabulous information, but you are a great listener. And not only are you a great listener, but people know you're listening because you ask phenomenal questions in return. So thank you for your heart and for sharing.
Yes, Stephanie, thank you so much for doing this chapter. It was so you. Every time I'm with you, you listen, you ask questions. You're always wondering about how I'm doing, and you're just such a giver. And this was a perfect chapter for you. I loved all of the things you talked about, the tenacity, the valuable techniques, the accents. You've got a great voice. I don't know why somebody put you into some kind of silly class. I loved how you did the how do you like your coffee versus would you like a coffee? That was interesting. I'm glad you touched on that. I missed that altogether. And encouraging the feedback. So thank you, Stephanie. You talked about this whole chapter right from your heart, and it was beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave y'all with something that I read this weekend. I'm sure Maureen or Gina, they always know the answer when I say this stuff. But anyway, I saw it on Facebook. One of our friends, I think it could have been Linda Tupin. But anyway, and she had copied something that she sent out, and it was talking about who the most important, when you're in a room with people, who is the most important person there, and how do you show that they're important? And then they were talking about this, and they said, like, if you go to lunch with somebody and you take your phone out and you put it on the table, you know, beside you, that tells that person that the phone or whatever's happening in your life on your phone is more important than them in front of you. That you don't want to miss something here just because you're with them. Okay. If you turn it over, same thing. That doesn't make it any better just because you turn your phone over. Okay. That's like, you not only are you not that important, if someone does call, I don't want you to see who it is. Okay. So the best thing to do when you're at lunch with somebody is take your phone and put it in your purse. Okay. If you in the morning, if you're married in the morning before you get up, before you say, good morning, honey, you grab your phone. It shows that this is more important than the person that you're in the bed with. So, and I thought, So, I mean, I was just thinking about all the times, like you're going over to visit your mom or whatever, and you're talking to them, but you got your phone the whole time. And we do that. We all do it. And she's got her phone in her hand too. But it is something that I think we ought to think about, and that we ought to like make a conscious effort to take breaks from the phone, and especially when you're with friends and family, especially like this weekend with Christmas. You don't have to have that phone in your hand when you're with all your cousins and your mom and your grandpa. They're not always going to be there, and this phone is always going to be dinging. But your most important people are normally right in front of your face, and everybody on this dinging, you can get with them later. I know this is hard to believe, but we used to take cruises where back in the 90s, and there was no cell service. Okay. So you literally just put your phone, you turned it off because there's no cell service. You did not check. And it was the best vacation. Now, when you got off, you turned it on, it was like ding, 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 and you caught up. But no, unless you have somebody on life support, that you need to have it on, you know what I'm saying? Think about that. So, just like, I don't know about y'all, but like when I'm in church, I'm not sitting there checking my messages in church, Now, some people look at their Bible app, and that's great too. But if not, that it can wait, is all I'm saying. And if it can wait for an hour, 2 hours while you're in church, it can wait over an hour lunch. Now, a lot of times you get it out and you're like, hey, have you seen something? You have it for references, but it is something that I'm going to try to do better and be a better listener and be more in the moment with those people. Does that make sense? And so, it's hard because it is an extension of our arm these days, but thank you for the great reminder, Stephanie. You did a fantastic job. I appreciate it. So on the calendar, as we have talked, just to remind y'all, on Christmas Day, we will not have a unit meeting, nor will we have a boss babe call. I know it's going to be tough for y'all. So tough. On Monday, the 1st, it's New Year's Day, but we will have a short meeting and a short boss babe call. The only reason we would not is Mary Kay normally, because one year they didn't do this and people raised Cain, but normally they go ahead and update everything on the 1st what's going on for the month. Okay. But one year they didn't. They did it on the 2nd and everybody went ballistic. And so I feel like it'll all be up on the 1st. If for some reason we find out that nothing's updated till the 2nd, I will send y'all a notice. But otherwise, we will have a boss babe call and we will just talk about what's going on for January. And that'll be like the everything you need to know call. Okay. So we will do that. And for my unit, we will have a little unit meeting right before, and it'll be a 2-week unit meeting of whatever y'all have had going on. Okay. So and then that will, we will already have closed out the year then. So thank y'all for jumping on here. I'm going to go and stop the recording right now.